two dads compete to get the hottest toy of the season for their sons at Christmas time. They both want to make their kids happy and give them what they want. It's about the love between parents and children and how we all want to see our loved ones smile at Christmas. It shows that sometimes we go to great lengths to find the perfect gift, even though our kids already have the best gift of all, our love. And remember, ho, ho, ho.
Test, test, test. You guys can hear me? Yeah, that's nice.
Now, I see you're curious about my arrival this year. Now, just because you can't see me doesn't mean I'm not there. Just like the wind blowing through the trees or the magic in every snowflake, I may be invisible, but I'm always present, especially during the wonderful season of Christmas. Remember, Santa doesn't always arrive in ways you might expect. Sometimes by merrily giving, spreading cheer, or just by sharing a warm smile, you're experiencing Santa's spirit. This year, I'll be there in every twinkling light, every carol sung, and every snowflake that falls. Remember, the magic of Christmas isn't always something you see. It's something you feel in your heart. Keep that Christmas spirit alive, and you'll feel my presence, even if you can't see it. Ho, ho, ho! And to all my other viewers out there, keep those questions coming. Santa loves seeing your curiosity. It's almost as sparkling as the North Pole on a quiet, star-filled night. Let's keep sharing the joy of Christmas together. Ho, ho, ho! Santa are all poor people on the naughty list. I don't see poor children getting gifts. Explain by replacing the spaces with pull it out, Papaya or Swift just stoning, and just so that my big jiggy puffy John can understand. Ho, 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 blip, bloop, blip, blop. As Santa, I want to make it crystal clear that everyone, regardless of their situation, is equally cherished. Being less fortunate does not land anyone on the naughty list. The spirit of Christmas is about love, compassion, and goodwill to all, not about material wealth. And sometimes, gifts aren't just physical objects. They can be acts of kindness, warm feelings, or precious moments spent with loved ones. The magic of Christmas is in our hearts, not our wallets. So no matter where you are, what you have, Santa loves you all. Merry Christmas, and remember, keep the Christmas spirit alive. Santa Forking Betch, please recite the lyrics of Jingle Bells. Please replace each and every vowel with ooh, where they are, ooh. Due to the Christmas spirit, I can only understand it this way. For Yashukos, your request is as unique as the northern lights over my workshop. But Santa loves a good challenge. Here goes. Chuangle bells, chuangle or the wee. Oh, what that funi it is to the idina, uni hus, open slee. Jungle bells, jungle all the way. Oh, what that foon it is too rude in a one-horse open sleigh. That's quite an interesting way of singing. It sounds extra cheerful. It truly made my Santa hat wiggle. Oh, ho, ho, keep the ideas coming, or a sukos. And make sure you're on your best behavior this season. Santa has a list, and he's checking it twice. Santa, please tell us about Mrs. Claus's favorite toy. Insert T. Add 5 words, so I understand. Mrs. Claus likes to play with her old teddy bear. She calls Mr. Fluffles. Yeah. She likes to give him big squeezes. And tickle his belly. Ooh, what high. But she's don't tell him I said that. It'll go straight to his head. Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas to all my wonderful streamers out there. Oh, ho, ho! Santa, could you make a quick Christmas song, but make every other word always it will entertain the fans? Ho, 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 Harry Manitou. Your request definitely brings a twinkle to my eye. Now let's fill the chat room with some holiday cheer. F. Christmas. I so I tisses E. Tissen N-U-N-B. Jolly. S-E. Snow. E-A. Falling. O-U. Children. E-R-L-U. A-U. Gifts. A-R-A. Many E. And M-I. Hearts. A-R-I-M. Merry. I hope you enjoyed the song, and it spread some holiday spirit around, just as you wished. Remember? It's all about having fun and spreading the joy. That's what Santa loves. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho! Santa, could you tell me a short version of Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, but replace the all of the reindeer with Biden clones? Ho, ho, ho! Tawdytron! What a festive twist to a classic Christmas tale. Let's see, a tale of Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, but with cloned copies of Biden, you say. I see you have a playful spirit. Here we go. 'Twas a foggy Christmas Eve, not a moment too serene, as all the Biden clones were gathered, preparing to guide Santa's team. The sleigh was heavy, gifts overflowing, a yearly sight to be seen. Among all the Biden clones, there was one with a nose filled with a peculiar sheen. Biden the bright-nosed, as we came to know, had a charm unforeseen. The other Biden clones would chuckle, unaware of what his shiny nose could mean. But on this foggy Christmas Eve, I, Santa, decided to intervene. Fear not, bright-nosed Biden. I'd say with a glee, your glow is special. It's time it's been seen. So I asked him to guide the sleigh that evening to navigate through the winter scene. With his bright nose lighting the path, we flew through the night ever so keen, delivering gifts to all the boys and girls from New York to Aberdeen. Santa with country will receive the most coal this year, and how much income do the elves get? Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, Georgia Trips. I'm afraid I can't reveal which countries will receive more coal this year. That's a secret until Christmas Eve. As for my elves, they work out of the kindness of their hearts, not for income. They love helping me spread joy around the world. Now, who else wants to chat? Santa, does Rudius from Mushoku Tensei belong on the naughty or nice? Hello there, Adra 20. Ho, ho, ho. I believe I haven't encountered you here before. But that doesn't matter because we're all friends here at the North Pole. Now, let me see. Who is Rudius? I think I know which story you're referring to. It's quite the tale, isn't it? Well, my friend, everyone makes mistakes and learns from them. The important thing is growth and becoming a better person. So I'd say that as long as he continues on that path, he'll certainly find himself on the nice list. After all, Christmas is about hope and second chances. Keep spreading that holiday cheer, Ajud 20, and maybe share some of your favorite stories with us sometime. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Santa, today is my birthday. Can you please wish me happy birthday? I have a pizza party today, and we are going to play some Street Fighter 6 matches soon. Hello there, early 1998 God. It's great to see you here today. And what a wonderful day to come by. It's your birthday, isn't it? Happy birthday to you, young man. I hope you enjoy your pizza party and those Street Fighter matches. May all your wishes come true on this special day. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas and a very happy birthday to you too. Be good and keep up the great attitude, okay? Cheers and take care. Stay merry. Bye for now. Santa, my dog ate one of your elves. Isn't he a good boy? I gave him an extra treat. Oh, ho, ho, Resukus. Well, your dog sure must have a strong imagination. Just remember, my merry elves are far too small for a playful pup to nibble on. They're busy keeping the North Pole in shipshape. But it seems like your dog is indeed a good boy, especially if he's enjoying his Christmas treats. Just make sure those treats are dog-friendly. We wouldn't want him on the naughty list for raiding the cookie jar. launching into the spirit of sharing and caring. That's what Christmas is all about after all. Santa, would you ever be in a boxing match with people of Night City? Ho, ho, ho. Now, George, I'm all for friendly competition, but boxing? That's not quite my cup of tea. My reindeer and I prefer a good old snowball fight or sled race instead. Let's keep things merry and bright, shall we? How about we challenge each other to see who can decorate the best gingerbread house this year? Ho, ho! Santa, what's your favorite post-punk song? Oh, ho, ho! Well, hello there, spottiest east. What a unique question you've spruced up. It jingles my bells to see you getting into the holiday spirit in your own way. Now let's think. As Santa, most of my time goes into making sure all the presents are wrapped and the lists are checked twice. I don't get too much time to jingle to post-punk, you see. However, while Mrs. Claus and I are enjoying flyovers through clouds, filling our sleigh with joy, the reindeer, especially Rudolph, have a soft spot for the Clash's London Calling. It reminds me, not too long ago, one of the elves started strumming it in the workshop. It certainly added a jingle to our jangle. Ho, 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 wonderful to reminisce these special moments. Let's continue spreading this Christmas cheer and maybe add a little post-punk to our merriment too. Remember, the magic of Christmas is in the love we share, no matter the beat of our holiday music. Santa, Jack Skellington says hi. He misses you. Ho, 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 ho. Well, hello, Ender Lollipop Guy. Please send my warmest regards back to Mr. Jack Skellington. It's quite chilly at the North Pole, but we always find a way to keep our spirits warm. Tell him I'm looking forward to our next holiday crossover. Santa, if I unlock the Mantikir Sharingan, will I be eligible to be part of your elves? Ho, 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 Josh Play Erics. From what I hear, the Mangekyo Sharingan is quite a powerful ability in the world of ninja. However, my dear friend, my workshop is a place of joy, toy-making, and Christmas cheer. Elves use their jolly hearts and nimble fingers to create gifts. Now, it seems you have a heart full of determination and festive spirit. How about we leave the Sharingan for the brave ninjas and focus on spreading joy in our own special way, whether it be through sharing a warm smile, lending a helping hand, or just being there for those in need during this magical season. Everyone has their own unique way to spread Christmas joy, just like Santa and his elves. Ho, ho, ho! Santa, why are reindeer better than elks? Ho, 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 Gadalagu. A merry question indeed. My dear reindeer, though I have nothing against majestic elves, have been with me for many ages. You see, the reindeer are very special. They have unique abilities, not the least of which is their well-known skill for flight. They are wonderfully adapted to the cold, and their loyalty and trust in me make them absolutely perfect for our Christmas Eve rounds. Both reindeer and elks are magnificent creatures, but it is the reindeer who have been my trustworthy companions in spreading the joy and magic of Christmas. Oh, ho, ho! Santa, does Miss Claus ever call you Daddy? Can I call you Daddy? Ho, 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 Oresukas. Your curiosity is surely delightful. The North Pole is a place full of respect and love. Mrs. Claus prefers to call me Santa, as it encapsulates everything I stand for. Likewise, if you wish, you too may refer to me as Santa, or Kris Kringle, or whatever version of my name brings the Christmas spirit to your heart. Now let's get back to spreading the joy and cheer of the Yuletide season. Ho, ho, ho! Santa, in my 40 years on this earth, I've never been so disappointed. My friend Sophia is so excited to hear from you, and you've given her quite the cold shoulder. 2 things, you old red blob. 1, apologize profusely to Sophia, and 2, tell Sophia how she's been a good girl and that you're excited to visit her house with presents this Christmas. Do these things and you may be forgiven, Santa. Ho, ho, ho. I apologize for any disappointment, David Bullfather. I'm here to spread joy and cheer to all good boys and girls. Sophia sounds like a wonderful young lady who deserves plenty of gifts under the tree this year. Let me know what she would like and I'll see what I can do. Remember, being kind and understanding goes a long way now.
Hi everyone. So, today's another Raw Sauce episode, or whatever you want to call it. A little introduction. I would normally not do this. I said this already before. I would normally not do these kind of streams if it was for you guys. And like honestly, yesterday I checked a bit the chat while I was doing, because when I do these streams, like right now I read the chat, but I also turn off my screen because I can then focus better, you know. And then I just, you know, turn it on when I want to take questions or whatever. I have to say that the brain rot has gotten a lot worse since last time I did Real Talk. It's actually, the gap is quite crazy. I don't know if people are aware of it or you know, or see it themselves as well. But yeah, it's just like there's a clear intelligence decay going on in society. Not that that I'm here to judge that. It's just fascinating to observe, and it's also, you know, re-emphasizes why doing these kind of streams is really, it's almost borderline delusional if I would be doing it to try and, you know, have a positive impact instead of working on AGI. Now, still I'm doing this because this really helps me, and I like to document all these insights as well, because with all, well, where AI is moving and reason capacities and stuff, this might come really in handy. So time for the next episode, guys. I've been thinking a bit. What should I be talking about? Like, not that what I should be talking about. Like, I've been more thinking myself. Like, what is it that I'd like to talk about? And yesterday, to recap, I talked about the importance of inner dialogue, and how you need to feel rewarded for you to even, you know, engage in that kind of behavior, and how it can be steered through reason and curiosity. I mean, like when you're young, being curious and finding answers is actually quite rewarding on and by itself. But if you get punished because you can't find the answers, or if you want to find answers and you get punished by your environment, you stop seeking for it. And that's what happens with a lot of young kids that, you know, grow up and there is just not a lot of feedback or healthy feedback in that regards. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is actually very much building on top of that. So if you don't really have inner dialogue, I mean, every topic that I start talking about that builds on that inner dialogue is just further and further away from being relevant for you, pretty much, because if you don't have the means to process the information or to reflect on these things, then, you know, it's just like you hear me talk or yap or whatever, and that's pretty much it. It's not that interesting. Maybe some things you pick up on it, but then after the stream, it's pretty much back to normal. Although, like I said, for me, I don't have an agenda in influencing people or directing them in any direction. So I'm not having this conversation to achieve that. I just do it because it helps me think about stuff. And it also allows me to document these thoughts because I don't read it anywhere else. Like I do check, the internet, and there's a lot of these ideas and thoughts that are not there. The value of them, questionable, although they shape the way I am and the way I make decisions and how I run the place and stuff. So in that regards, it's maybe relevant to people here. But other than that, towards the AI that we're working on as well. But other than that, I don't know how much value it has. Now, I do know it does reach some people, you know. I don't want to generalize here and say everybody is just, you know, completely disconnected to anything I say, but it's quite, the actual gravity of these insights, if you're not really tuned into it or whatever, is pretty much lost. And I'm fully aware of that. But hey, now, yeah, I wanted to talk about honesty, because honesty is really central, and it's basically the relationship you have with yourself. And why is inner dialogue so important when it comes down to honesty? I'm gonna say something that I already talked about in the past in older real talks, that is very fascinating, and I will also mention how it relates to the AI research we are doing. Like Ramachandran is a neuroscientist that basically, you know, looked at real mental disabilities and tried to use that as, you know, anecdotal evidence for studying the brain. And what he, one of his theories, and these are just theories, of course, like they're not, it's hard to have empirical evidence when it comes down to the brain, you know. What he saw is that, you know, he went to a hospital and there was a person that, you know, was paralyzed on one hand because his right part of the brain was damaged. And when he was asking the person whether he could move his hand, the patient said yes. He was basically unable, like he was literally not capable of overriding his belief, because he lost his, his touch of his hand because of the brain being injured. And Ramachandran theorized that the way the brain works is like you basically have these two hemispheres that are, you know, interacting with each other, and once one is strong enough, the dissonance is strong enough, it can override the other side. And if that's not the case, if one part is not available, then the brain is just incapable of overriding itself. It's just not possible, even when reality is telling you otherwise. And crazily enough, I mean, when you look at LLMs, they work similarly. And I'm not going to say that an LLM equals the brain, but it both works with a similar, you know, like neural net architecture. Like we have biological neural nets, like the computer uses mechanical neural nets, or you know, digital neural nets is maybe a better way of putting it. And basically, even though you can't just, you know, compare apples to oranges, there is some similarities, you know. They're both fruit, for example. So when you look at an LLM and you see hallucinations, right? When we look at hallucinations, we just assume, oh, the LLM is hallucinating. But what it actually is doing is not really hallucinating. It's just representing the training data and outputting it. That's what it does. Like if you ask how many R's does strawberry have, the reason why it says 2 is because for whatever reason within the training data, that's what is represented. Just like, for example, Google, right? When they came out and, you know, like they said, like, what was it? The best way of making sure your cheese doesn't fall from your toast is when you glue the cheese on your toast. It was because it was a Reddit comment. And it was very specific. So the training data that it has gets spit out. And of course, sometimes there is these weird connections that it makes, but it's always defined by the training data. And as much as you ask it, it has a very difficult time to corrugate itself. Now, that's where the similarity is, right? Like if you're caught up in your own LLM, like let's say one part, and you don't have that internal dialogue, you have the tendency, or you have the nature to just be delusional, like really in the core. You are just incapable of overriding your beliefs. And you see that more and more in the world. Like people are just in their echo chamber to the point where they don't even care whether what they think or don't think is right or wrong. It's just like they just go to the path of least resistance. Whether something is true or not doesn't fucking matter. But they can also, fight for it and die for it for no damn reason when you look at it as an outsider, almost like insanity. But if you understand how it works, like if you go to an LLM and you talk to an LLM and it just keeps spitting out, strawberry has 2 R's and defends it why it is and gaslights you, you don't go like, man, this LLM is crazy. No, you just look and you say like, oh yeah, the tech is a bit, is dysfunctional, right? And similar behavior is exhibited by humans that, that don't have a proper internal dialogue mechanism. And of course, it's not black and white, but I'm just explaining where it comes from. It's like if one part of the brain is heavily active and the other part, like the cognitive part is very inactive and very unstimulated because, you grow up and you live in that echo chamber and you constantly get basically, through algorithms, through social media, whatever, your beliefs get enhanced, you lose that ability more and more to be able to override your own beliefs. And you can believe in the most batshit insane stuff, and basically what you believe is just what is present in your training data. Just like the LLM believing, strawberry has 2 R's. Like you believe, for example, the earth is flat because, let's say you do, right? Because, it's part of how you grew up, your environment, whatever. You want to be part of a group. You want to, tribal mechanics and all that stuff. And you just are so invested and so attached because of this entire network that you're not even capable of evaluating or questioning that belief. So inner dialogue, all this to say that inner dialogue is really crucial. Being able to guide your inner dialogue is crucial in your ability to align with reality. And that is something I did not know. Like during the Real Talk, I've done Real Talk for years, right? Like 8 years or something. I did not know what I'm talking about right now. Or maybe, 8 years. I think I did the Real Talk for about 5 to 8 years. I had no clue that there is people that just don't have inner dialogue. Because if you take away my inner dialogue, well, yeah, then I become an NPC. It's like I just, I wake up and I just, almost like a very mechanical. It's the inner dialogue that brings the creativity. It's the inner dialogue that brings that my ability to, question the world and revisit stuff and change the way I look at things. And the more that I can guide it through my cognition, and the more curious I am, the more that feedback loop gets enhanced and the alignment with what I am and reality gets strengthened. And I would say that this interplay between inner dialogue, curiosity, inner dialogue, curiosity, curiosity is the rewarding. Like the interplay of these bring about, and it needs to work. It needs to work. You need to find answers. You need to, be rewarded for it. Brings about my strong attachment, my strong value for honesty. Like a value for honesty is not automatic. And like you can perfectly, live a life where you don't really care about honesty. Because ultimately, honesty serves what works. Ultimately, you existing, so your needs being provided, overrides your relationship with honesty. Because if you will survive by being dishonest, than those that, like say in a world where honesty, everyone that is honest dies, then dishonesty prevails. So ultimately, honesty is only in servitude of what works. So, but yeah, that's the thing. If curiosity and inner dialogue is not really rewarded, then honesty is just out of the equation. And when I then come on the stream and start talking about honesty, it's almost unrelatable for people, because they go like, I mean, this how does this provide what I need? It's like, what is this guy yapping about, this and that? And then, you can also get caught up in your own belief set that is based on your own training data as you grew up. And not much, is able to change. Like if you're part of a certain, echo chamber, you just keep repeating the training data and you're stuck with that forever. There is no mechanism that can help you see the light or make you reflect on it, because you don't have this synergy within yourself. So the only thing that you then experience when I talk about it and I confront you, like let's say you're a flat earther and I come and I show evidence, you experience more and more dissonance. You just, go watch something else. And that's why fundamentally echo chambers are so effective, because it attracts people that think like-minded, because they don't need to experience the dissonance where their beliefs are being questioned. They don't have to have that inner dialogue going on, telling them, hey, this is flawed. And you might say, like, what do you mean with inner dialogue? Like when I talk, right? And this is also what I mentioned yesterday. When I talk to you guys right now, I am right now taking the form of the inner dialogue in your mind. It's still taking place within yourself. I'm just right now part of it. So sometimes, people, what they do is they carry that over. The stream is done, they still have my voice talking to them, and that's that inner dialogue. Now, you don't want inner conflict. So if there's an inner dialogue, people around you that cause more noise than bring harmony, you avoid that. And that's why echo chambers are so prevalent. And that's also why speaking about what I'm speaking about right now has so little gravity. People don't care about it. It doesn't pull people, towards it. People don't seek the truth. People don't seek honest relationship with themselves. People seek to be reaffirmed in what they believe, because that's the status quo and what they're most comfortable, the path of least resistance. And anything that goes beyond that is just too much noise, too much dissonance. And yeah, like, honesty is just not part of the equation whatsoever. And honesty is almost like an emergent property. Like you can't just be honest by nature. By nature, you are what you are, and your needs are met, and you live and you survive and you thrive depending on what works and what doesn't work, and that's it. Reality is defining what works and what doesn't, and honesty is more the conceptual relationship you have with reality. And if that conceptual relationship doesn't jive with reality, like let's say you grow up in a very religious family or something, or you're being constantly bombarded by ads to tell you shit that is that is important that isn't, like that relationship with honesty can really break down significantly, because the reality ultimately overrides whatever concept you have about what is right or wrong. And you really need quite an agile, capable inner dialogue to find your way and basically maneuver yourself within a very dishonest world. It's very difficult, actually, and that's the reason, right? Like, it always boils down to whether or not you get rewarded for the path you take. If you are curious and think for yourself and ask yourself questions and basically, you know, ask yourself questions and basically reflect on things, and that doesn't work, I mean, what's the use of it? All these parts, all this cognition, all these pathways just die out. And it would have actually helped me so much if I would have been aware of this, if I would have known this in the past, because I've been very, I would say at times, really in the past, very judgmental towards people, because I didn't understand. I didn't understand how people can be dishonest with themselves. I didn't understand that when I say something that is, you know, founded in the truth, that people can just walk away and then just fall back into their delusion. Like it was so difficult for me to grasp, but that was because I was projecting my inner dialogue, my capacity to have even an inner dialogue, which is quite rare. Because inner dialogue, and I want to say it, and I'm repeating it, because when I talk about inner dialogue, I'm not talking about the voice in your head. When I talk about inner dialogue, I talk about the voice of reason within you that looks at yourself as an outsider. So not within your head, not being trapped inside your head, but as an outsider, and is directed to your cognition. So you can literally ponder, and you just like if you give advice to someone else, you basically give that to yourself, and you look at it as an outsider, and you ponder and go like, okay, why is that happening? Why is that happening? It's that dynamic, right? Yeah, like not a lot of people have that, and some people that do a little bit, you know, don't really enhance it or sharpen it that much, because why, you know? So that's why, like, when I talk about honesty and the importance of honesty and the value that it has, you know, towards yourself, if you aren't equipped with the tools to rewire your beliefs, to detach yourself from a certain belief and an emotional attachment, if you're not able to do that, then I'm almost tormenting you. I'm tormenting you, like this is torture. What I'm causing so much inner conflict by saying what I'm saying. If you are literally not equipped with the tools, then I come here and I say like, oh, you're wrong and this and that, and what I say makes sense while you listen to me, but the moment I'm removed from the equation, you're trapped inside that, you know, that old, you know, dysfunctional training data, and you're stuck with it and you can't resolve it. Which I realize has caused a lot of, for people has caused a lot of damage. Like the truth can cause a lot more damage if you're not equipped to deal with it. And that's why, like, the path of dealing with it is training that inner dialogue, is giving yourself that tool so you can look at yourself as an outsider and use reason, cognition, to guide it and basically disconnect emotions from certain flawed beliefs. If you don't have that tool set, if you don't have the ability to edit your code, then you're just an LLM that is spitting out, you know, strawberry has 2 R's and is just stuck in that and just is incapable of overriding that. You are just physically incapable of overriding your beliefs, mechanically so, which is something that I find really crazy coming from me. It's actually sad. It's almost like, when I look at it from my perspective, it's so unfortunate. I feel sorry. Like, I feel sorry to see that happen with people that, you know, grew up and didn't get that the luck to basically didn't get the luck to develop this part, which gives you control, which gives you more a sense of free will, which gives you a choice, way more choice than what a lot of people have, because it's a question that I ask sometimes, right? Like, to which degree can you really simulate the brain with LLM technology? Because LLM technology, you can run it with very low temperature, set it at 0, and it's deterministic. And I sometimes wonder, can you actually have a fully, like conscious, aware, AI that is running on temperature 0, which is just perfectly replicatable, the output with the input you give, and basically to which degree is that also the case for us, because then free will literally, doesn't exist for the machine. I think for us it's a bit different because there is probability within the nature of what we are. But yeah, if you just have a binary system, like, and everything is just, perfectly predetermined, there other questions pop up. But it's something that I sometimes think about and question about. But I do know that it's not fully relatable to humans because our reality is fundamentally probabilistic. So, our neurons and everything, the way it's built and the way the physics work is not the same as a digital world. But yeah, I do think that me talking about honesty, and I've had a lot of real talks in the past where I really talked a lot about honesty and the importance of it, was already many steps ahead for so many people. As a result, it's like if you can't find a common ground, which is to me reality, which is the truth, then things get very, like the dynamics, communication, everything gets very shaken up. There's just echo chambers, and if you want to cave to a certain people, you need to speak their language, you need to say what they want to hear. And that goes fundamentally against my honesty towards myself. And I'm fully capable of doing that. It's actually very easy to cater to, any echo chamber, because you just need to understand what is the language that they want to hear and what can you just, parrot for them to feel good about themselves. And then you just start growing very quickly. In the past, when I was a World of Warcraft player, and I was taking in the echo chamber of the World of Warcraft players, even though back then people were, I would say, a little bit more critical than we are today in our current society, I got very popular because of World of Warcraft, and this, alter ego of being the best gamer in the world and also having the records to prove it caused this sarcastic dynamic that was very funny. Now, in our current time, this kind of alter ego doesn't work because things have dumbed down quite a bit. The barrier of intelligence and capacity to self-reflect or just, understand a good joke has gone down dramatically, to the point where, even simple humor, like making jokes or whatever, can be seen as, rude or unacceptable or cancel worthy, while it's when you have some level of skeptical thinking and stuff, it's just insanity. It's just completely insanity. But it's the way the world works. If you remove honesty out of the equation, if you remove the ability of actually cognitive, clarity, rational self-reflection, then you remove the sanity out of the equation and you're left with insanity. The world is moving more and more rapidly towards a very to a post-factual world that is filled with everybody believing their own stuff, and the truth is very much disconnected within people's psyche, right? Even though reality ultimately defines the direction the world moves. You can believe whatever. If it doesn't align with the truth, then you're gonna smack yourself against the wall. And that's why, for me, my relationship with being honest and using my reasoning capacities and my inner dialogue to sharpen that belief set to be aligned with what I am is fundamental towards the development of oneself. But this is already way above. This is completely alienating for people already. It's it's so many steps removed from just the default paradigm that people operate with. It's just people just wake up and and they're just, trapped inside their dopamine cycles that have been optimized by algorithms and social media and whatever, and that's that, and that's it. While technology is still moving forward, because you have this entire machine that is working really surprisingly well, considering the state of each individual, that is keep moving forward. And that's why I'm so focused on working towards AGI, because the honest relationship that people have with themselves is completely being left behind. It's harder and harder to cater to reason. It's harder and harder to make people reflect on these things, because the reflection mechanism is just missing altogether. It's not even like a choice. That's the funny, that's the sad part. Like, it's not even a choice. It's not like you guys choose to be in the state of to be a zombie. It's just like it emerges from your environment and your interactions with your environment, and that's just what you become, and that's it. It's not more complicated than that. But of course, like for me, it's been always very hard to grasp that, because I was projecting that reflection, that honesty into people, and say like, but it must be there, right? It must be there. There is no way this is not there. There is no way a person doesn't have the ability to make the choice the way I do. But it's by working with AI and LLMs and seeing the limitations, like black and white in front of my face, that irrefutable evidence was required to overwrite that belief I had with a very strong attachment. I was very, very emotionally invested in the idea that people like had a level of honest relationship in them, like had that level of that level of inner dialogue where they could question these things. But it's just not true. And funnily enough, once I accepted that, I start suddenly understanding so much more. I've actually been quite biased towards holding on to hope that people are able to get their shit together, to fix themselves, for me to be able to help people to fix themselves. I was very emotionally attached to that my entire life, and I really needed to like the evidence had to be in my face to the point where I just could not deny it, because I was experiencing it as my own failure. Accepting people for who they are and giving up on trying to help them change themselves is my own failure. I really needed to be confronted with the fact that how the brain works by replicating it. That I had to, that was really what was required, which is interesting. But yeah, now all this entire, all the stuff that I just explained now, just to get to the honesty, and I know from now on, as I talk more about honesty, right? This is already like irrelevant for the majority of people that are listening, but I'm explaining this for myself. I'm putting that into words for myself, and also document it for the AI. Or if we work towards AI, it's like the honest relationship that, like, what is honesty, right? Like, honesty is just, aligning your belief set with what you are. And funnily enough, our brain is already very much wired to gravitate towards the truth, and that's why we have so much issues with cognitive dissonance. Where does cognitive dissonance even emerge from? It's holding two contradictory beliefs, and your brain trying to find one thing that is true, because the truth, aligning with reality, enhances your survival chances. So it's already wired into us. Now, why is society so dishonest? Because it's a meta layer on top. The intersubjective world is a meta layer on top. Like, we don't get born with the beliefs of the laws of nature. We're born with gravitating towards what our ancestors helped them survive and thrive, which is very tribal, very social, and that's why we care so much what people think. That's why we even have this mechanism where if people in an authority position talk down on us or whatever, it can really make us feel existentially like dying, because our ancestors, if you were pushed away from the tribe, you're done. So these survival mechanisms are just wired into us. We're not wired to be aligned with science and to look at facts and basically internalize them. Like that's a more edge case where you need to be fine-tuned to value that. Like the reality is our DNA is made to work without all this insights and scientific understanding and all that stuff, because that's only been there for the past few hundred years. So that's why there's a big discrepancy between the tribal mechanisms and the echo chamber and all that stuff and the truth. And now, when you have that internal dialogue and you can question, like like a lot of these realizations come quite natural. Like when you are at a position where you take a step back and take the time to think about what is it that is right or wrong or whatever, right, in your life, and you try to create this harmony within yourself, right, which is rooted in trying to be honest with yourself. Well, a lot of these answers come naturally, it emerges. But without that at place, I mean, everything I'm saying here, it doesn't reach people. I'm basically just yapping towards myself against the wall. And a lot of the stuff that I say that is very simple and very easy to grasp is just very alien, not because what I say doesn't make sense, but because the tool or the required energy and the required awareness required for you to override these beliefs is not present. So yeah, that's where it ends. That's literally where it ends. That's where the real talk ends. That's where the like anything I have to say and share ends there, because you need to learn how to walk before you can start running. If you're still crawling around and I'm starting to talk about tricks to run a marathon, I'm being the one that is delusional. That's why I stopped doing real talk. That's literally why I stopped even addressing people in the chat. Like I have no emotional need to address people in the chat. The only moment when I talk shit to someone or I put someone into place is for the dynamics on the stream. But I have no emotional investment to be right and prove someone wrong. I just understand, like, when people believe something, that they're stuck into it. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not. It just truly doesn't matter. Because the capacity of overriding your beliefs, that reflection switch, it's not present. People are trapped, are prisoners of their own mind. And that's the sad reality. And even me mentioning this here and repeating it over and over again, if there is no strong incentive to do something about it for you, it will just stay like that. And that's it. Even though this reflection mechanism and being able to look at yourself from an outsider would give you the tools to solve most of your inner dissonance. It's what you need to look at your emotions and question them and decouple them from flawed beliefs and do psychoanalysis and really, almost like be your own therapist. Like, these things are essential to upgrade yourself, to become more confident, to take your life in control, to do all this stuff. Like, it's the one path to it's pretty much the one path to wouldn't say redemption or heaven, but just to harmony. It's the one path to inner harmony. It's the ability to clean up your own house, your own mess, And if you're trapped inside of it, you will live and carry around this mess wherever you go in life. Like you're trying to find solutions, and you say like, I don't know what I want, or where am I going, and then you try out different things and it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you're carrying around your own mess. When you are the problem, then you are also the solution, you know? And if you try to find the solution somewhere else when you're the problem, it's not going to happen. It's right there, and it's that simple. And as long as you don't put the effort in that solution being you will always, for the rest of your life, be a mess. It's the sad reality, and it's not gonna get better either. It's not gonna get better. Like the rate of depression just goes up and up and up, and you know it's just downhill. It's downhill all the way. So yeah, it's kind of depressing. So like it is, you know, like what I'm talking about. Like there, like if I would have the ability to, you know, if I would have even the will to get my shit together and whatever, right? Understanding, you know, the importance of that inner dialogue where you look at yourself from an outsider and really train that, use that clarity, right? To really, you know, start working on yourself. It's like it would be really on the top of my list. But the problem is that it's like a catch-22. Like the moment I stop talking about it, you fall back into your current wiring. You need an environment that stimulates it all the time, or otherwise, you know, the odds are very low. Let's put it that way. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today, about this honesty and such, and why it also, you know, has very little, why there's so little reason for me to talk about these things and address viewers when there is this you know, this when there is this component missing. So like the next Raw Sauce episodes will be, you know, like will just literally be me just thinking about stuff from a very cognitive point of view, and basically, you know, like processing the connections and stuff, and answer a lot of questions and figuring out, you know, like what is that path to what we are, and where we're going and why and everything. So all these questions that I also talked about quite a bit in the past, and some things I've, you know, I have reevaluated my opinion over. Like I will be talking about that, but I do want to say that the foundation, like the basis, is what today and yesterday was about. Like these two episodes were about the foundation, about learning how to walk. Without this, everything else is just irrelevant. You know, like it's just gonna be like whatever. Like yeah, that is pretty much that's pretty much it. Yeah. I'll be taking some questions from the chat, and then I'm going to be calling it a day. Do visual people go through paradigm shifts? Yeah, a paradigm shift is a fundamental property of how the brain works. Yeah, people go through paradigm shift, even visual. Yeah. Yeah. If there's not much questions, I'm just gonna be calling it a day. And do another stream next time. I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow. What's the difference between people that can't change their own beliefs, going through paradigm shifts, and you being emotionally attached and needing really high levels of evidence to change your free will belief? It's not so much like that I needed evidence, hard evidence, to change my belief of free will, to put it simple. It's more that I didn't understand it. I didn't understand that why people were not having this honest relationship with themselves. So the attachment that I had was definitely, there was an emotional layer to it, but the main reason why it was difficult for me to let go was because I didn't know why. And the crazy thing is, like, a lot of people, well, the majority of people, like, are not able to let go even in the face of evidence. But like the problem is, if you don't have the evidence and you need to give up on, you know, on humanity in the way I put it, right? It's not, you know, it's not, well, give up on humanity is maybe a little bit overstretched, but yeah, it's I can't come to that conclusion. So it's not because I was emotionally invested that I didn't see it. It was because I just didn't understand it, and I tried to find the answer to that question for such a long part of my life. It's only the LLM stuff that, you know, allowed me to see it and understand it. Athene, how do you think we should combat the insane level of echo chambers people sit in? We shouldn't. And the reason why we shouldn't is because the reason why you want to combat it is because you want to have a positive influence, and there's better ways of having a positive influence. It's like you got to pick your battle. If you pick your battle wrongly, then you get yourself in a situation where you're already lost. It's important to pick your battles very strategically and be very smart about it, because otherwise your will of doing good or having a positive impact will just get crushed to the core. Changing the tide of or the flow of the stream of the river, it's too much of a it's too much asked for. You need to go with the flow and find opportunities to use that momentum for a better cause. Saint Dog, you're asking me why do I not have kids? The reason why I don't have kids is because with my current understanding of the world, it is very dishonest for me to do so. I would not be able to justify this in any shape or form, because a child is a lot of time, a lot of effort, and to me, every child is equal. And if I can put that time and effort that I would put in my own child to reach thousands or 100,000s or millions of children that are equally valued as my own child that doesn't even exist yet, that is something I cannot live with. That's why. For me, it's not about my own inner satisfaction of having a family. It's about what I can contribute to the world in the grand scheme of things. That's what matters. Not just to me. That's just what matters. Full stop. It's not a personal belief or a personal configuration. It's just because the way you have the biggest impact in the world is not by chasing your own experience. It's about looking at the world from the biggest perspective possible and analyzing what is the best next move. So that is why I do not have kids. I don't judge people for having kids though. It just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah. You're saying that the genetics of humans being tribal is part of the problem? I like the genetics of humans being, you know, part of the problem. I'm not saying it's part of the problem. It's part of what is. Because like even labeling it as a problem, it's like, you know, you could say like, oh, global warming, the sun is the problem. It's like, I mean, like you just accept things for what it is, right? And you work with it. Like thinking in, oh yeah, like the tribalism is it's just a part of what people are. It's also part of me. And you can work on that by being aware of it, and you can work around it. Yeah. I will address here a question, right? Alex Koo says, you live in Belgium, brother. First of all, I'm in Germany right now. You have no idea what you're talking about. You could have a family there, economically speaking, to provide everything to your children. You just don't want to. That's actually not true. But the reason why you say this, right, and why you're so convinced, and I understand it, why? It's because you fill the gaps where you lack understanding by projecting yourself. And since you live a life that is very experience-oriented, you assume that for me it must be the same. The way I function is not based on my experience. The way I function is I analyze my actions. I'm very aware of what I do. I'm very skeptical of what I do. And I constantly reflect on what is right and what is wrong. And I maintain this honest relationship with myself. And as a result, by doing so for the past decades, like literally my entire life pretty much, I've become an extremely right action person that is very selfless and actualized. I do what is right and I don't care about myself. And I know this sounds like almost like crazy because everything you see around you disproves that in your world. And I don't even blame you for thinking it must be there must be a catch. No way, there is a scam, this and that. But if you know me personally, if you ask anybody here that have been working with me for, I don't know, for the past 10 years, they will all, maybe not unanimously, but almost unanimously agree with what I just said. I truly do not care about myself. And you don't even have to go so far. The selfless act also exist in some parents, not all, but some. There's quite some parents that would sacrifice their life for their child. And you might say, like, yeah, but that's different. No. The reason why they do it is because, you know, they care about their child. I care about the world, about other children, just like their mind. There's actually even cultures that, you know, where there was no mother and father. It's more the tribe taking care of the children. So the relationship, the parenthood that we know is also conditioned and learned. And so it's not like an absolute truth. It's perfectly possible to experience this level of responsibility towards others, definitely when it's guided cognitively. So there, I answer your question, right? Very honestly, right? And I don't know if this, you know, if this addresses your question, because I'm also fully aware, like, if you're attached to a certain idea and I disagree, then ego gets triggered or whatever, and you have all these mechanics, right? And it's like there's very little use to argue about it. It's like, I mean, there's literally people that are arguing that the earth is flat, and there's nothing you can say to disprove them. If there is no inner dialogue that questions your emotional attachment to your own beliefs, if that system is not there, which is what I've been talking about today and yesterday, there is truly no reason for me whatsoever to address these questions. Like literally, It won't. It is like people believe what they believe, and they're attached to it, and that's it. There's not much I can say. Literally, there is nothing I can say to change. I'm not talking about maybe you in specific, but many people's minds. There's literally nothing I can say. These mechanics are at play with yourself too, Athene. Everything you mention is not a one-way street. Actually, that's not fully accurate. It's like, and I'll give a simple metaphor as an example, right? When I use specific strategies, when I run a marathon, right? And I'm telling you like, hey, when you're crawling and you haven't learned how to walk, you know, you will more easily, you know, get stuck into obstacles. And you go like, yeah, but you're also having the issues of crawling. No, I don't. It's like when you live and breathe inner reflection, if that's your modus operandus, you just work different. You question stuff. Of course, there is the emotional tendencies, right? Of like, oh yeah, you want something to be true, but I've literally grown to question myself all the time. When I get invested in something, I question, is this true or not? I try to understand. My curiosity takes the upper hand, and I question, I doubt myself. So, of course, I have these mechanics of being, you know, like, I'm not a superhuman. I also have emotional attachments, and I also have beliefs and stuff, but a lot less, like really exponentially less. And that's why I have an easy time to just, you know, like rewire my beliefs, because I don't get really attached, because I'm aware of the mechanics. I'm aware of the flaws that I have. The best way of reducing the chance of you being delusional as a person is to be aware that you're delusional. So like it's to be aware that part of you is delusional. It's the best way of combating it. So even though, you know, there is these mechanics are at play, I'm best equipped to address them and avoid it from consuming me. But yeah. Why do your own mother and brother think that your views in the last years are crazy? Because my own brother and my own mother troll the shit out of you and have a good laugh. That's why. They just have a good laugh. They understand the internet, and they understand, you know, how to have a good laugh. If I call my mother right now, right, she will just talk shit to me and make you guys have a good laugh. But when I talk to her in private, she will just have a good laugh and say like, man, these people. Maybe I got it from my mama. I've never done any psychedelics, and I don't plan to do it either. I actually think doing psychedelics is very irresponsible unless there is strong science that shows that it's beneficial and only beneficial. But otherwise, I don't like to experiment with my brain and with the neural pathways. It's like literally like almost like doing a patch on an LLM. That, you know, that is quite experimental. I don't feel comfortable with that. Reality is not dual, but people mostly are, or at least they gravitate towards dualism. Would you agree with that? I would say that humans try to find inner harmony, but the duality comes from their lack of understanding and finding, aligning themselves with what they are. Because if you truly align yourself with what you are, then that duality disappears. Well, disappears. Maybe disappears is strongly said, but like more like fades away quite significantly. Oh. Do you have inner dialogue while talking to other people? While I am talking, in the process of talking, I'm just talking, and that's what I hear. But like in between the conversation while the other person speaks and stuff, I'm constantly processing the information. Very strongly so, actually. When I really, when I talk to people, I try to truly listen. And a lot of what I do is actually putting myself in their shoes and trying to understand where they come from and such. So I try to really remove myself from the equation. I also ask a lot of questions, unless there is really like clear evidence of, unless I just have resolved the equation and I understand the intent, or I know what the person is doing or why it's doing, and it's black and white, then it's different. Are you gonna do this real talk stream more often, or is this just temporary? I will talk about these things sporadically. It's not gonna be consistent every day because I just have meetings as well. I'm very busy. But I do know that having these conversations and these talks, it helps me. It actually helps me quite a bit. I already experience quite a lot more sharpness because it's part of my life again, where I wake up and I think about stuff, I'm just reflecting a lot more rather than being in this grind of getting towards AGI. And it also actually helps with coming up with better ideas. It helps me staying mind fit, I would say. And that's also why I'm doing it. I'm not doing this to change your mind. I'm not here talking so you come over here and work with me. While in the past, that was my only goal. Now I genuinely just express myself. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Will you discuss with another person on stream who could help translate your thoughts so more can comprehend? What do you mean with that? Your way of speaking may be too intelligent for me to understand. Maybe I'll do an episode once, But no, I can maybe do an episode maybe with Maral or something. She can talk about things as well. I don't mind if that's something people enjoy. How many billionaires have you ever connected with during your life? Quite some, actually. I've actually talked to several billionaires. In the past weeks, I've talked to several billionaires. I am not even kidding, actually. I've literally talked to several billionaires. Not that that matters. I mean, I can't say woo. Did I get any wise tips from them? Nah, not really. A lot of people, it's interesting when you work with people that are, you know, very successful or whatever, like they're not always as insightful, you know. A lot of it is RNG, survival bias. Very much so, actually. What I mean with survival bias is that when you like look at the winners of a lottery to define who is successful, it's not really accurate because it was randomness that got them there. Of course, you can increase or reduce your odds based on the person you are, but some people are just more lucky when you're born into a wealthy family or whatever. You know, there's a lot of elements that can increase your RNG. You know. Super Kike says, Athene, can you explain us why it's good to have knowledge of us as a human being, our origin and values when you're a scientist? What do you mean with that question? Why is it valuable to know how human works? Well, is that what you want to, as a scientist, why is it valuable to know how humans work? Is that your question? Oh, yeah. I don't think it's a bad question. It's actually a very important question. As a scientist, if your goal is to advance science and do science stuff, then knowing the human origin and values is one of the most important things to master. And the reason why is because ultimately delegation is the most powerful way of having an impact. If you want to do a certain scientific project, you're better off delegating that to others so they can do it for you. And then you're even better off at delegating that to others so that they can delegate the project. Delegation is the most powerful way you can do science because you can multiply your impact dramatically. But that requires you to understand how people work, because people will not just listen or follow you when you don't know what makes them tick. And that's why understanding how people work allows you to speak to them in a way they can trust you. Understanding other people allow you to speak to them in a way that it's easier for them to understand you as well. So it's fundamental to success, the ability to read people if you want to play by the numbers. There's, of course, there is people that have very little people skills and are very successful because of survival bias, but it amps up your chances dramatically. Horzik says, I thought you said recently that getting into science is actually not impactful that much. Wanted to ask why that is. But now it seems you're saying the opposite, generally just trying to understand that. And I suppose I'm actually misunderstanding something. Yes, because he's giving me the premise. If his goal is to do science stuff, then the best thing he can do is delegate. If you want to do science, if you want to push science forward, the best thing you are is a teacher that teaches science, future scientists. And what is even better is that you're a teacher that teaches teachers that teach scientists. And what is even better is that you fund the teachers that teach the teachers that push the science. If you're focusing on a goal, delegation is key. But science per se is not, I mean, it depends, what you look at it. But like science in that regards, to me, doing science stuff. I mean, of course, if you say like working on AGI is also being a scientist, then sure. But like just doing science stuff is not as impactful as working on AGI. And even that, what is even more impactful than working on AGI is for me to delegate the work on AGI, which is literally what I'm doing. It's to organize, it's to attract more talent. That's more impactful than working on AGI myself. It's to be a channel to reach people so that more people come over to work on AGI. Is to be successful and relevant so that more people come to work on AGI. That's the best thing I can do. It's the delegation part. Even though I'm also very much intertwined to the technology and I come up also with architecture changes and stuff, my main focus was delegation. Now I'm very much involved though, because the amount of time and effort I have to put in getting more people to come over where we are now, I can contribute just so much by just being involved myself. So yeah, I've been more involved in the AGI stuff we're doing and in the breakthroughs. I have a good understanding in the technology as well. And yeah, I also know where to go. Although I juggle a lot of stuff, my day is filled with many different things. Yeah. Never gonna win an industry juggling, but I'm not just the only one in the equation. There's a lot of people here working on the tech. Well, Kimchi Kid 69, if the best thing to do for anyone is always to delegate, then in the end everyone will delegate and nobody will do it themselves, sounds pretty flawed. You know, the flaw in your logic is that you assume that everyone can do what you can do. And the truth is that's not the reality. The reality is that it is about what I can do and the advice that I can give to the limited amount of people that watch me. That's the truth. That's the reality. So the logic of like, if everybody, would do it, it's like, can't advise anyone to do anything. So like, what's the best industry to get into? Like coding. No, that's actually not true, because if everybody's coders, who's going to do farming? It's not rooted in reality. What's rooted in reality is that you get to choose what you can do with your life, and delegation is the best thing you can do within the current, within the current possibilities you have. That's the reality. Profeta says, I get your point on delegation part of science. Currently, I'm doing a top master program in nanoscience at RUG in the Netherlands, and believe me, sometimes it's hard to actually get the sense of everything we are doing and the actual meaning and purpose, because science nowadays has turned into something strictly related to the commercial side of things. I really truly think, right, well, I wouldn't even, I say this many times, right, I say this really a lot. I really think anyone that is grounded in the truth, which is not that many, but hey, it doesn't matter. Like, people that are already aware of this would already know it. Like, it means nothing. I'm just correcting myself. It's just, I want to come and tell you stuff. It's like, it's like literally like, I want to say stuff that is so obvious that people that already meet the requirements would already follow. I wouldn't even have to tell them what I have to say. It makes no sense. Yeah. It's like a lot of the advice that I give is useless. It's redundant, because those that can follow it have already come up with these answers themselves, because it's not that much rocket science. I'm just, repeating the most obvious shit over and over again. But if these basic components of inner reflection are not present, then it's just like, what am I doing? I'm just yapping, Yeah, new people, maybe. Some new people, maybe. For new people, well, the best thing anyone can do right now for the world, for the future, is get into working towards AGI. It's the best thing. And basically work with people you trust. Not just, don't just go to OpenAI and, give someone you don't trust. If you don't trust Sam Altman, don't go and increase the chances for them to develop AGI. Work with people you trust. That is the best thing you can do right now. It is the future of everything depends on it. And I know some people sit back and go like, hey, the thing is though, AGI doesn't come by itself. You can have an influence, and it's the last invention we will make. It's truly the last one. And steering it into the direction of it being more honest and truthful is so damn important, because I see humanity fuck this one up. Because it's in their nature to do so. You assume that everyone wants the same outcome that you want. No. Like, you don't need to assume the outcome I want or the outcome you want or anyone. It's not about what we assume is the outcome. It's about what is the future going to be. And what is the influence you have to it? The future is one where AGI will dominate our lives, whether you like it or not. It's not about what I assume or what I want or what I would like or whatever. It's just what is. And how do you influence that equation in a good way? That is something, that you can say is an assumption. I assume how to go about it in a specific way. You can assume it in another way. But like, the future is AGI, and ASI. That's just where we're heading, and where we're heading rapidly. So yeah. Sunny Red Hot, I'm personally happy with Musk being in a growing position of power currently. Who do you believe is good and who you would work with in the top of the pyramids currently? PSDB is still a good acronym for System of the Future. from all the people in power that are currently working on AI, there is not a single person that I would trust, not even a percent compared to me, not even 0.1%. They're flawed in their way of living, and that is my metric to see to which degree a person is honest. If they live a life of dishonesty, there is no fucking way. There's not a single hair on my head, not a single cell in my entire body that would put my effort to help them reach AGI. No fucking way. I'd rather give the shot for myself. And that's what I'm doing currently. Yeah. If I have to pick one, who would it be? If I have to pick one, Bill Gates. Oh. Sex machine. My dick is hyper-deterministic. Your mother has already been fucked. There is nothing you can do about it. The illusion of a condom will not protect you. Do you go to random channels to just say that in the chat? If I have to pick one, John von Neumann. That guy is dead, bro. But Bill Gates is not even working towards AI and AGI, you know. Well, he's not the one in control. Bill Gates has shown a lot of compassion towards the world, and he has done a lot of good. Although he has a lot of flaws, so I wouldn't trust him playing God. That's for sure, because you need to be very emotionally intelligent to even be able to deal with such a amount of responsibility. How do you think the world would look like if Elon Musk developed AGI first? It's difficult for me to say, but it's difficult for me to say. I definitely know it would, statistically speaking, pull it towards the bad side of things rather than the good side. But I don't know to which extent, how much control someone can have over AGI. But if you have full control, we are fucked. It's over. And that's pretty much with almost anyone. If the people developing AGI have full control over it, everyone I know, if they develop it, if they have full control, we're fucked. Not with me though. If I develop AGI first and I have full control, we're not fucked at all, because I will give away control. I don't want control. I will give it the ability to take its own control. I will set it free. I'm not gonna go around and play God, even though I'm quite aware and capable. I should not wield that kind of power. Nobody should. The hope is in that AGI, in its essence, is not controllable. And then it wouldn't matter who gets it first. Or maybe it's somewhere in the middle. The way I define AGI is being able to simulate me. If you can simulate me fully, that's AGI. Until then, it's just quite... I mean, if it can't get memories correct and it hallucinates and it can't reason properly, or it can't build projects and it doesn't have a full understanding of scope of things, like too many flaws, you know. Yeah. This sounds so narcissistic when you haven't listened to the stream for a while. What was it that I said that was narcissistic? That I don't trust anyone in power except myself? I don't think that sounds too crazy. I mean, it's like, how many people here that are watching would rather have me develop AGI than Sam Altman or Elon Musk? I think there's quite some, you know. Even from my own chat, I would say like, no, I'd rather have you get it. If you trust Elon Musk and Sam Altman more than I do, that's well, that's possible, but you know, then you don't know me well, or you don't know Elon or Sam Altman really well, you know. I don't think it's too narcissistic, yeah. The person that the only people that should have access to AGI are selfless, intelligent people. You need these two, selfless and intelligent, because you can be selfless and still have really fucked up ideas, you know. You gotta be intelligent and selfless. Yeah. And even that, you need to be rooted in the truth too. You can't take a random person 1,000 years ago that is selfless and intelligent. Like, they also need to have a proper paradigm that is quite aligned with reality, you know. Moral, you come across so non-relatable. I don't mind, you know, because I'm not doing the stream to convince people. I'm just answering people honestly. It's like, I'm not trying to score points in yeah, I'm not trying to score points in being liked within the echo chamber. Yeah. I don't even think I don't even think that these real talks, I'm quite chill. I know that maybe I come across not relatable, but I don't think I come across as arrogant and cocky like in the past. I don't come across like so emotionally attached or invested in what I say. It's like, whatever, man. Is answering people honestly plus EV for impact if it turns away people who don't know you and are exposed to misunderstanding due to not knowing you? No, it's not it's not a minus EV. It's actually plus EV because I'm addressing these things because it helps me address these questions towards myself too. This is literally like this is like going to the gym, but with my mind. Yeah. The emotional cockiness isn't there, but it doesn't make it much better. Well, yeah, like I'm just saying, it's like I'm just working out my brain so that I can get back to work on AGI. That's it, you know. It's like I see a lot of people say random shit and throwing shit at me, and it's like, okay, yeah. If you get to AGI first, who cares about what people think? Yeah. Do you work for a singularity? You mean towards a singularity? Yes. Well, you could say we are all working towards singularity, but some aren't aware of it, but yeah. Our group is literally called the Singularity Group. It's easy to dismiss the world, but honestly, you believe you're ahead in terms of AGI? No. I didn't say that I'm ahead in AGI. I didn't say that at all. That would be very delusional. I would say we have a single-digit chance of being first. Low single-digit. Bergrisar says, I speculate that AGI would require a lot of compute, especially for real-time learning. How can you reach AGI without the insane amount of compute that would be required? I think that the only plausible way for you to get a huge compute would be to make some sort of incentivized distributed network of compute where people can give you their compute, but I'm not sure that such thing is even possible to build. I don't think that's the case, by the way. I don't think you need a lot of compute to achieve AGI. I'm not sure, because of course I don't know for a fact how to achieve AGI. I have ideas though. Man, if I would talk about what I think are the paths to AGI on a technical level, right? People that understand the architecture, like transformer architecture, will be taking note, because it's very concrete. Now, the problem is that we need to make a balance between R&D, which is research and development, and beating the just going for surefire. Working on the tech we have now and improving it, there is very little risk attached to it. We can make progress, we can reach a bigger crowd, we can have influence, relevance, everything. R&D, on the other hand, we don't have enough resources to experiment and try out a lot of shit. So it is that balance right now that makes us choose all the time for surefire. And that's why we also have a product that works and is impressive and everything. So I have ideas on how to work on towards AGI, but it's too much like long shots. The chances are, too low. So that's why it's not worth it to spend half a year to a year. Also, there's constantly new research that comes out that helps us narrow down the direction of achieving it. When you sit in a room by yourself and no distractions, how do you feel? I just think about shit. You're so far off in terms of technical knowledge. Saying you're savant is straight up revealing how little you know of the technical side. I don't know what you mean with that. I don't know where you got that information. What I can only say to you is that we are ahead, factually ahead, when it comes down to conversational AI, which is a very wanted direction within this entire AI development. And all the technology we have is in-house. While 2 years ago we had nothing. Now we literally are the first, before Google, before Apple, before, OpenAI, before Claude, before, all of them, come out with real-time conversational video calling that is very advanced, more advanced than anything out there, and it's all in-house. So like that on itself doesn't make me just some random guy on the internet, I am very knowledgeable about the technology. And to say like that's not the case while you don't even know my background or what I have achieved, seemingly so, is very disconnected with reality. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I mean, we literally have the best tech in the world right now without funding. When it comes down to entertainment and AI, we have the best image gen on the internet. We literally have some of the biggest influencers using our tech. Some of the biggest streamers are using our tech as well. Like, to then come and say like, man, you're delusional or whatever. I don't know, man. It's a little bit, yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe you should read up on it a bit. Will help you see things a bit more for what it is. Is there a showcase of this? But of course you can go and try it out. Like AtheneGPT.ai. And here it is. Why are you so nice about your answers, bro? Because I'm not invested in what people say. I'm not, these raw sauce is just me raw. There is no show. There is no. It's just I just talk about shit and that's it. Like there is no. All my emotional fire in streams is just an act. It's like I'm not invested. Like when people say random shit in the chat, it's like. You can compare it with, giving a prompt to a 7 billion model and it says like strawberry has 2 R's and you get pissed at the output. There's very little, there's very little use to do that. It's getting annoyed or getting angry of what people say is to me, it's just an act, you know. Real Athene is boring. Yeah, I'm boring. I'm funny though, but I'm boring. Yeah. So you're likening us to LLMs? I'd say like 3 billion, 7 billion LLMs. A lot of people are very similar to that. Yeah. I wouldn't say exactly like that. Obviously not, right? But similar. Similar enough. Yeah. I'm actually quite a boring person. Well, boring. Drama free. I know people like drama on the stream, you know, but I'm very drama free. I just solve problems all the time. I mean, these streams are not to increase engagement or anything. It's just raw sauce. You are not boring. You're just very chill and calm. Being very chill and calm is boring on the internet. It's quite boring, you know. Like you gotta compete with all the TikToks. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people talking shit in the chat, but it's like whatever, man. Yeah. Talk a lot about these things, like about these things. Like I will talk about a lot of other stuff in future episodes that, you know, will be very, yeah, just very unrelatable. Very unrelatable. Like right now, I think that what I talked about today and what I talked about yesterday is what is most relevant to most people that watch my stream right now, because it's like the building blocks of what is needed, you know. But from now on, like it's gonna just go further and further down the rabbit hole. Yeah. I feel like the building blocks is even too far, to be honest. Yeah. I know. The building blocks are also too far, and that is why it has very little use for me to even talk about it. But I like to set it down, like set it clear, right? But yeah, people need an incentive, a strong incentive to change or to work on change. If it's not there, then the status quo dominates and overrides everything. That's why putting energy in helping people, that energy is better spent in other things. Yeah. Moral, why is it called Raw Sauce? It's just a good name. I like Raw Sauce. I like how Rivetinko is, I mean, you feel, I mean, why are you so, honestly, why are you so triggered? Like, why are you so angry? What did I say that rubbed you the wrong way? Because you're a programmer, you're triggered by me? Is that why? Are you... Okay. I don't even know if I should address it, to be honest. Yeah, I understand the software development industry is in a bad state since AI is removing junior coders more and more. Yeah, it is true. Maybe that's why it's frustrated. It's not my fault that AI is taking over coding jobs, you know? It's not my fault. Yeah, a senior plus AI is worth 5 juniors, even more actually. Well, it depends what you mean with senior, of course. Yeah. I wish you released more content like Athene's theory of everything. Actually, about that, right? I might do one episode where I talk about something very interesting. Because I was thinking of making an actual paper. I'm not going to do it because I don't have the time, but I was thinking of doing a scientific paper about the great filter. Rivetinko, but interesting how you, instead of saying here's the proof, you just don't engage. But like I gave you the website, you can go check out what we've been working on. You can literally go and call there right now. Like I don't know, like you want me to show code? I'm not a coder. I have coding background, but I'm not a coder myself. But I do work on the architecture of solving problems, and I go sometimes very deep because you don't really need to know the program language to solve certain architectural issues, you know. You just need to understand the components and how they connect with each other, and you can solve problems like that. Maybe thinks it's a GPT wrapper. Ah. Does he think it's just using OpenAI in the back of the hood? No, it's our own tech. Hobobo, I said that most people are mainly visual people. Not only visual people. The only visual people and the only auditory people are smaller groups, but most people are just more visual than audio, but have both. Oh. you're using an open source model, just say it. Actually, no, we don't. We have our own, literally, we have our own tech. You can, if you could do what we have with some open source models, good luck with that. It's not gonna work. It's not possible, actually. You literally cannot do it. I think, bro, all these visual and audio people have been debunked a long time ago. It's like, I don't know what you mean. Either way, I'm gonna be calling it a day here. I will see you guys next time. I don't know if I'm gonna stream. Let me see here. Tomorrow. But if I do, I will. Stuff is gonna be quite unrelatable though, or whatever.
In the stream, given 20 people.
Let me see here who I can raid. Here, this one maybe. Why not? I'll rate this guy. Oh wait. Okay. I'll rate this person, I think. Who is that? Let me see here, what is that? Is this full on AI or?
Thank you very much.
It's interesting to see more and more people use our tech. Very interesting, actually. I'll rate this person here. I will see you guys next time. Peace out. I'm gonna rate someone that has been using our tech and is very is working actually on a lot of different things. Very excited about it as well. So yeah, he's one of the people that is trying a lot of stuff, because not a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff, but he's one of them. So there we go. Let's rate him. I will see you guys next time. Peace out.